Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, we're the brothers from the GMS Atlanta Church. First and foremost, giving all glory, honor, and praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash.
double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. Today's lesson, we're going to do pretty much an overview of Psalm the 79th chapter, and Lord willing, it'll be edifying. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 79, starting at the top. It says, a psalm of Asaph. It says, O power, the heathen are come into thine inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps.
Right. So pretty much, Psalm 79 is a threefold prophecy. All right, because you got to remember too, Asaph, King David, during these times, during the time of King David, they were taking down the other heathen nations and setting Jerusalem on top. All right. So, with that being said, there's certain things that transpired after the time of Solomon that this is speaking about. All right, can we read that?
God, Psalm 79 and 1. It says, the psalm of Asaph, O the Most High, the heathen are coming to thine inheritance. Thy inheritance, thy holy temple have they defiled, and they have laid Jerusalem on heaps.
And there's deeper meanings into that as well. Not only physically destroying temples and walls that we built, cities and burning it, which we're going to get into that history as well, but also the actual person. You see, mind, physically, the body. Matter of fact, get 1 Corinthians 3:16.
Yes, not to mention, I mean, to add to your point, the Apostle Tahar did a lesson recently. He was going to what was the third temple,
Right.
which is spiritual, which is your body. So this is 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse
Start at 16.
16. It says, know ye, 1 Corinthians 3 and 16, know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? Verse 17, if any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy.
Right. And what did all these other nations do to Jerusalem, to the Israelites? They destroyed the temple.
Yeah.
All right. Physically
and
spiritually, mentally, psychologically, just ruined us. All right. Of course, it was mandated by the Lord because we went off. Of course, when you read what's that in I want to say Lamentations, the 3rd chapter, it talks about how we went off and he did the things that he did to us.
Yeah, I got the Lamentations too.
Oh, you got it? I mean, you can bring it up.
Well, it was Lamentations 1 and 1. I want to go into, still going into how the heathen, came and ransacked us as a people. First it was, the temples and basically our holy locations, because when you take over a nation's stronghold, you pretty much got that nation down.
Right.
Think about America, one of their, one of the main central locations is D.C. New York City, what they call it, the Empire State. When you actually compromise certain nations, more, like I said, strong structures, you pretty much got that nation in full control.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is Lamentations 1:1. How does the city sit solitary, that city being Jerusalem, that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations and princess among the provinces, how is she become tributary? Right, a tributary is somebody that has to pay tribute, and taxes or be a slave. And whenever you pay taxes, then you're basically have been subjugated.
Right.
And we were never supposed to be subjugated upon the heathens, but the heathens started to grow stronger, and they started to, well, first and foremost, really, we went off in Isaiah Habashim al-Shai, and we would basically open game for the heathen to come and attack.
Yeah.
And you see how they brought us to the conditions that we at now.
Mm-hmm.
You see these Jakes and these blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans in the hoods, in the most impoverished areas, mentally bugged out,
Still paying taxes.
still paying taxes. That all comes from
Yeah.
what? The heathen ruling over them,
Yeah.
which is a curse. You got it.
You can go to. Oh, you have something?
Oh yeah,
I just
You can
had
go
it.
to Lamentation 3 and I think like 45 or something.
Okay.
Well, you can go
I
ahead
get
and go.
that.
Well, since he already in Lamentations,
Okay.
Okay. Lamentations 3 and 45, thou hast made us as the offscouring and refuse.
I think you can go up to like verse 42. Let me check.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Better.
verse. You can start
Yeah.
at verse 42.
42. We have transgressed and have rebelled. Thou hast not pardoned. Thou hast covered with anger and persecuted us. Thou hast slain. Thou hast not pitied. Thou hast covered thyself with a cloud that our prayers should not pass through. Thou hast made us as the offscouring
2 Chronicles 36.
and refuse in the midst of the people. All our enemies have opened their mouths against us. Right, and when you think about these somebody that opens their mouth, that's basically a form of consumption. And like I said, it was fair game with them, to take us down, because we went off in the eyes of Yahweh Shemal Shah. And these nations are all about what? Opportunity.
Right.
They have certain animals, opportunist predators, and those animals look for the best time to strike and the best time to kill. So these different nations are one, predators, that shows that they look, within what we do, and they look to look at us at our weakest point.
Right.
You see, and they keep smuggling us. It's not like when you think about the blacks here or the Latins and the Native Americans here in America, and we're always looking for opportunity, but we never get it. Because what? They don't want us to rise as a people.
Right.
They went out their way, and it was a alliance, and it was allegiance. It tells you that in Psalms the 83rd chapter, how they got together to break us down as a people. And then I got to take the foot off of our neck so that we could actually establish a level of independence, so that we could actually rise up and get the Holy Land back. They're gonna go out of their way to make sure that our temple is constantly being destroyed, man. But I think that was the main point.
Right.
You got it, bro.
I got a quick precept to what you're saying.
Mhm.
This is Ezra the book of Ezra, chapter 4 and 15. This goes to show you that the nations want to, quote unquote, keep their foot on our necks. It says this was a letter of opposition written to one of the kings, Artaxerxes, I want to say. Let me see. Yep, to Artaxerxes. Ezra 4 and 15, that search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers. Right, so what? The heathen nations would look into our records to see what we were about.
Mm-hmm.
They would actually study us. Okay? It says, so shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city, the city meaning Jerusalem, is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces. They're only saying that in that sense because when we get back to our power source, they get taken down.
It hurts them.
It hurts them. Yeah.
That's the same as nowadays. Hey, you're a fool, or you have to know that the so-called white man, especially us, is looking to everything that we do, our jobs, our everyday lives, because we bringing down their kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's hurting them, like the brother brought out the precept, man.
Right.
So you better believe that the so-called white man is looking, on damn near everything that you do. In return, we have to, study them, man.
Right.
Yeah. And they got Jacob duped in the system. Because first they took us down by the force of the sword.
Mm-hmm.
They destroyed the temples and they carried us away. It tells you that we were carried as tossed like a ball into a far country. It tells you that thing in the book of Isaiah. And now, hundreds of years later, you know, we're still, as Scripture says, you know, still in the land of our captivity, and we're looking to rise up and get up out of this place. But now, since we're so-called citizens, we're looked at like terrorists. But they already terrorized us. They already beat our nationality out of us. They fed us garbage. They stole the Holy Land. They raped and ravaged the women. And this is centuries of history that this white man was doing. From, you know, the 1400s, you think about 1490, you know, the saying go, 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. From the 1400s to 1500s, the 1600s, 1700s. Then they speak about what, 1860, around the 1863 or 1865. That's when you have the, you know, the Emancipation Proclamation. But that was over 400, you know, 14, 15, 16, 17. That was over 400 years of just battering and bruising, and it didn't get no better in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
That's when you have the prison system, you know, which Jake was getting thrown in for petty crimes, you know, and even if Jake was doing criminal activity, they were getting charged more harsher. That's why the prisons right now are filled up with blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Yeah.
The 1900s, you think about the 1970s and the 80s, when the drug era took place. You know, in the 90s and 2000s, you know, to the point that we're at now, we're in a worse condition than ever, man. It hasn't got no better, man. And that was all by design. Before Esau made action, he got together and planned these steps.
Going back to Psalms 83.
Going back to Psalms 83.
You can watch that documentary, The 13th.
That's a real good one.
Because like every time it goes to a different, you know, section or scene of that movie or that documentary, it will show the population of jailhouses increasing. You know, and most like the deacon said, most of that is comprised of you Israelites, man. You so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes. But to finish this off, it says, and know that this city is a rebellious city and hurtful unto kings and provinces. I wanted to mention too, the only reason they would call us a rebellious city is because we're rebelling against what they prescribed and what they, you know, built up. When all actuality, when we get back to our power, that's coming back into the natural order of things,
That's right.
which they are very adverse to. All right. It says, and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition with the same of old time. For which cause was this city destroyed? Right. Which we are going to get into because Psalm 79 is one of the precepts. You know, is speaking about one of the actual sieges of Jerusalem due to Jerusalem's incompetence, if that's the right word, and impudence, you know, towards the Lord, pretty much. All right, and disobedience. All right, just let me see. Yeah, that's about it on that precept. Matter of fact, you can go. I'm gonna read. Yeah, you can go to 2 Chronicles 36 and start at 13. But I'm gonna reread Psalm 79 and 1 real quick, just to get one of the first prophecies this is speaking about. O Yahweh, the heathen are come into thine inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps. Right. So we understand one of this. We went into the spiritual thing of that is actually defiling the body and the mind of the Israelites. The heathen did do that. That's why even when you read Galatians, the 2nd chapter, we refer to some Israelite Gentiles, like the scriptures speak about it. It says the word Gentile. We refer to the uncircumcision as heathens. All right, the ones who are not in. There's 3 names for them in the scripts: Gentile, uncircumcised, and heathen. All right. So if they're being called a heathen, that means their mind was defiled by a heathen. All right. It defiled. You know, the Titus 1 and 15, to the pure, unto the pure, all things are pure. But it talks about the conscience being defiled. All right, and that's what happened. You can go ahead.
And something that's defiled is something that was once clean.
Right.
You know, pigs aren't defiled; they're already unclean.
Right.
You know,
That's a good point.
When something is already clean and then it's actually becomes sickened, that's when it becomes defiled.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like
That's a perfect
that's a perfect point. Saying, kind of like saying That like the heathens can't be saved.
That's right.
You know, there's no saving them.
Because
Yeah.
they're unclean people.
Yeah.
From the get-go.
From the get-go.
From the get-go.
That which is crooked cannot be made
Can
straight.
a leopard
Yeah.
change his spots?
Can a leopard
Right.
change his spots?
You got it, brother.
Con, this is 2 Chronicles chapter 36 and verse 16. It says, but they mocked the messengers of the Most High.
Start at 13. Start at 13.
13.
Yeah.
It says, and he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him swear by the Most High.
Right. That's King Zedekiah. All right. And what's crazy is when you read in there, Jeremiah talked to this man, Zedekiah. That's why you got Jeremiah, the 25th chapter, that whole chapter right there. All right. Zedekiah, King Zedekiah was the last king before Nebuchadnezzar came. And he rebelled. All right. Go ahead, brother.
It says, who had made him swear by the Most High, but he stiffened his neck
Mm-hmm.
and hardened his heart from turning unto the Lord, power of Israel.
That goes back to that, I think that in Kings 22, 1 Kings 22, where he sent the lion tongue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. He just sent the obstinate heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said, probably had another council. I'm just speaking as a man, probably had another council in the heavens.
God.
Who's gonna do this to Zedekiah because this has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Put his obstinate heart, obstinate meaning stubborn,
Mm-hmm.
on Zedekiah to rebel. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen.
That's why we brought,
Right.
see, at the
Mhm.
abominations of the heathen.
Mhm.
They kept doing the customs of the heathen. You can go all the way back to, not all the way back, but 3 chapters back to, as an example, to 2 Chronicles, the 33rd chapter, speaking about Manasseh and what he was doing. He was doing things in the customs of the heathen.
Mhm.
But we just read Lamentations 3, verses 42 on down. It talked about we transgressed.
Mm-hmm.
We blatantly went off. The scriptures in the law talk about knowingly sinning
Yeah.
in the law. Israel knowingly sinned against the Lord, knowingly went off. Go ahead, brother.
That's why we're in the predicament we're in now. It's because we kept transgressing against Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but hey, as I say, our people are so stiff necked that they don't even see why.
Right.
You know, it's because you're not turning to the Lord, man.
That's right.
Hey man, I'll tell you. I know the brothers down in Dallas. They've been pushing this heavy the past this past week. Fear of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Israel during this time didn't really have the ultimate level of fear, man.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. If you don't have fear of the Lord, you don't consider.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you don't have fear of the Lord, you don't have the wisdom.
Yep.
You see?
Uh,
Go ahead, bro.
Continue reading. It says, moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And the Lord power of their fathers sent them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place.
See, he had mercy. He had a care for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You can go and read Exodus, the 2nd chapter, around verse 23. It talks about how the Israelites, due to bondage, were moaning and sighing unto the Lord, and it said the Lord remembered his covenant
Yeah.
with Jacob and with Abraham and with Isaac, the water, and Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and pretty much had mercy and compassion on the Israelites. Therefore, he did what he did.
Mm-hmm.
He brought up Moses and got them the hell up out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see what makes it where there's a 2/3 is because see Jacob veer off, and the Lord will send messengers going out of their way, like I said, rising B times. And what the scripture says, that Jerusalem that killed the prophets, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would kill the men of the Lord that the Lord actually sent to them to tell them to turn back.
Right.
You know, stop eating pork, stop following the ways of the heathen. Like now, you know, it's where we at? It's September 30th. It's finna be October. You know, Halloween's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are gonna celebrate that day? The federal government made over $1 billion. I think it was last year or the year before. That's a lot of people that, and majority comes from black. They can show without a doubt that majority of these people that celebrate these holidays are blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Halloween, Christmas, Black
Thanksgiving.
Friday, Thanksgiving, Easter, which these days don't have shit to do when you actually trace back and go to the origins of all these. None of these go back
to the
heritage.
heathen.
And then, you know, Jake be pro-African. They don't even celebrate African holidays. You ask a Jake, you know, of an African holiday, most of them don't know.
Just hypocritical.
Yeah.
Hypocritical. These Native Americans don't actually keep their old ancient native traditions.
Nope.
They follow the traditions of the heathen. And guess what? They'd rather follow the ways of the heathens than follow their ancient customs. Because what? They get looked at like they're weird.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And this is what's normal. And that's why, like I said, that's why there's a cutting line between 2/3 and 1/3. Even us wearing our garments on the highways and byways, a lot of Jakes make fun of us,
Yeah.
not knowing like, bro, this is your heritage.
Yeah, this is
We ain't supposed to be wearing this fucking you know, polo and all this bullshit. Majority of these clothes that Jake brags about is European fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which those devils stole a lot of stuff from Africa and the neighboring Asia, you know, those different you know, countries around, and robbed the people from a lot of those you know, prized products, whether it comes from certain animals or certain textures, you know, and created that, and they marketed it off of you, as well as the jewelry that you wear, you know, the customs that. So you Jakes are full scale heathens,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
That's it.
and that's how we know this word is living and true.
that's right.
You got
Their mind has been defiled.
mine is a foul.
John, verse 16, it says, "But they mocked the messenger of the Most High, and despised his words, and misused his prophets, until the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua arose against his people, till there was no remedy."
See, there's a reason why I said that first before the
Yeah.
destruction is spoken about,
Mhm.
because the Lord mandated this.
John.
All right, you got it, brother.
And they know what holy men look like. You know, there was times where the Lord delivered Jake, and he delivered them through the act of miracles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things that the heathens never actually even done before.
Mm-hmm.
And see, like I said, Jake just loves to be seduced, like to walk to the ways according to the flesh, because that's what's trending. You know, there's always been a trend. You know, you look at YouTube, you go to YouTube, and you can click your trending feed and see what gets the most views and what's the most influential topics.
It be BS.
And it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
But there's always been trending. You know, when the heathenistic Christmas was a trending holiday. A lot of people wanted to celebrate Christmas other than Babylon. You know, a lot of people wanted to celebrate Easter other than Babylon, and a lot of those Israelites heard about those celebrations. They heard about the things that the heathen were doing, you know, from the sexual activity to the partying and the revelings, and they wanted to fully indulge.
That's
Right.
But what? We were chastised. You think about a child that's in the house, you know, looking outside, and everybody on the playground doing all kind of, you know, fuck
Yeah.
shit. Excuse my French. But what does that child want to do? He want to go out in the door. She might have to be in the house studying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, might be under his discipline. You know,
Yeah.
under a disciplined father or mother, and he's being built up to actually be somebody great. But he doesn't see that because what? He sees is children that's actually outside having fun, which the word fun means to be distracted, man.
Mhm.
Jake just wants to be distracted
Yeah.
rather than be a prince of the power, rather than be an actual king on earth.
Yeah.
That's that word amusement.
Amused, yeah.
Amusement goes. The meaning of that is to divert one's attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They'd rather have their attention diverted to another
Yeah.
Something
from
other than-
reality.
From
from
reality.
reality,
yeah.
and the reality is going back to the Lord.
And that's and going back to the premises of the lesson, or back in Psalms. That's why the Lord allowed the heathens to destroy Jerusalem, because we transgressed against them, man.
Right.
You know. But I had a quick precept.
Go ahead, bro.
It's 2 Kings 21 and verse 12. It says, "Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua of Israel, Behold, I am bringing such evil upon Jerusalem and Judah, that whatsoever heareth of it, both his ears shall tingle. And I will stretch over Jerusalem the line of Samaria, and the plummet of the house of Ahab. And I will wipe Jerusalem as a man wipeth a dish, wiping it and turning it upside down."
Yeah, Jake always talking about wiping something down.
Right.
The Lord said he gonna wipe Jerusalem down, man. Meaning what? He gonna clean it up.
Right.
Because what? They're defiled. And there's two agents when you read what that Numbers that the Lord uses to clean. One is fire and one is water. Let me see if I can find that precept. But it's quoting it, it says that it has to, and
the law of purification that if it doesn't go through the water, then it has to go through fire to be purified. And Jake didn't want to get washed by his word, so Jake got to get cleaned up by that fire.
Right.
Quick precept, and I'll go back. We're gonna go back to that Psalms to get through that. Numbers 31 and 23. Everything that may abide the fire, ye shall make it go through the fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation, and all that abideth not the fire, ye shall make go through the water. And Jake don't want to go through these living waters. Jake don't want to be cleansed by the water. What Scripture say, the washing of the water by the word.
Right.
So they gotta get washed and cleaned up by that fire.
Which is an easier process, just going through the water.
This is the easy process going through the water.
Mhm.
And you think about you jumping in the shower, that's easy to be clean.
Yeah.
But you actually having to goddamn go through, fire, actual fire that scorch, burns the skin. Scripture speak about that. Was that Zechariah? They're basically gonna be burning while they're standing on their feet. Right. Prepare for it. You got it.
It's just two more verses on here. It says, "And I will forsake the remnant of my inheritance, and deliver them into the hand of their enemies, and they shall become a prey and a spoil to all their enemies, because they have done which was evil in my sight, and have provoked me to anger, since the day their fathers came forth out of Egypt, even unto this day."
From day one, Israel has been poking at the Lord. From day one. So these things, these certain prophecies that we're going into, according to Psalm 79, these things had to happen. And then also what we're going through today has to happen. All right. There's no other reason why you niggas are out there getting shot in the streets. This has to happen because you did, like the brother was saying. There's one thing. If you don't learn by words, you gotta learn through adversity. And a lot of you Jake's gonna have to go through that adversity, which is the fire, man. And you keep going. This we finished off the prophecy in 2 Chronicles 36, and they keep going in 79.
You want me to start at verse 2?
For what?
Psalms
No, go back to 2
Second
Chronicles
Chronicles.
36, because we have to get the destruction of Jerusalem in that.
Oh yeah, back in 2 Chronicles 36 and verse 17, it says, "Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon young man or maiden, old man, or him that stooped for age. And he gave them all into his hand, and all the vessels of the house of the Most High, great and small, and the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king, and of his princes, all these he brought to Babylon."
Right. So you stop right there. Go back to Psalm 79, read verse 1 and flow into 2.
Down. Back in Psalm 79, verse 1, it says, "O power, the heathen are come into thine inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps. The dead bodies of thy servants have they given to be meat unto the fowls of the heaven."
Yeah, they killed them and just laid them there.
No proper burial. You keep going, brother. Stop at after verse 2.
Come. It says, I read verse 2. "The dead bodies of thy servants have they given to be meat unto the fowls of the heaven, the flesh of thy saints unto the beasts of the earth."
Right. So that goes to show you that 2 Chronicles 36 was a prophecy according to this, because it says the holy temple. And when you read 2 Chronicles 36, it says they carried out those goodly vessels and destroyed the temple. That was the first destruction of the actual temple that was built. All right. Of course, the second destruction, we can get that in Revelation, the 12th chapter. All right, 70 AD with Vespasian and Titus. All right, keep going, brother. You can hold Revelation 12 on deck, though.
Down. Verse 3, "Their blood have they shed like the water round about Jerusalem, and there was none to bury them. We are come a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and derision to them that are round about us."
Right, and in the word derision means a laughing stock. All right, we have become a scorn, a laughing stock. All right, people think Jake, looking at Jake now, is comical now. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at this dude. That's how the heathen look at us now.
Yeah, and it's only two ways to look at a people that, you know, don't belong in the land. You know, you either astonished at them in a positive way or in a negative way. Scripture speak about how we're going to be, you know, like an astonishment in the book of Deuteronomy 28. And we're really second-class citizens here. We wasn't brought here to be famous.
Right.
You know, they didn't bring us from the west coast of Africa to be superstars and celebrities for all the, you know, to celebrate and praise. They brought us here to be fucking slaves, man, and to be a laughing stock. That's why when you think about Jake or blacks, we're the butt of every joke.
Yeah.
They got every nickname under the earth to call us, you know, rather than actually who we truly are. And we call each other damn 18, 19 different names,
Right.
rather than actually who we truly are.
Mm-hmm.
That's a form of being a scorn and a reproach.
Right.
You know, keep going.
We could read swiftly through Revelation 12 because that's another prophecy according to this when Esau came down on us.
This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
Right.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time from the face of the serpent.
Just a quick synopsis. The woman is speaking of Israel. Talk about the wings as the escape. Even Yahushua told us to flee into the wilderness. Matter of fact, we're going to get some examples out in the book of Maccabees too, about how things went down there, because the temple during the Maccabees, it wasn't destroyed, but it was defiled. All right, you keep going, brother.
Verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman.
Right, that's that army coming down after the woman, and this is during the time of 70 AD. When you look into that history, during the Flavian dynasty, all right, which was Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. Water. Go ahead.
It says, verse 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Right, so that's when there's a little book called what's that, Babylon and Timbuktu. All right, let me see if I got it. No, I ain't got it really.
Okay.
But it's Babylon and Timbuktu, and it's a little excerpt in there that talks about when this happened, that over 1 million Israelites fled into Egypt. All right, go ahead, brother.
It says, verse 17, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High, and have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach.
Yeah, that's funny too, because there was a little group. All right, you know what I'm gonna say. There's a little group that admitted that they believed that they were the Sakari. All right, of old. All right, it says the dragon was wroth with the woman. During that time, there's a little sect of individuals who were actually provoking the Romans to come down and do something. All right, they were actually poking at the dragon. It's like poking at the hornet's nest.
Yeah.
You're bound to get stung.
Right.
Something's gonna happen.
And that really helped and allowed initiated the dragon to act.
Yeah,
they were justified. Because like you said, it was when you actually go into the history, a lot of those Jews that were looking to fight the Zealots and the Sakari, they were looking to come against the system and the oppressors rather than taking a spiritual approach, and that's why Jerusalem got destroyed. And those Jakes that even though they had warriors within their units, they got their asses swept through, man, because that wasn't the right approach.
Yeah.
No matter how good they were, it wasn't of the Lord.
Right.
The Lord said, if this is my kingdom, my servants will fight. And it's the same thing that applies now. That's why we push against that guns, ammunition, and bulletproof vest mentality. You got it.
That's right.
That was it.
That's it. You go back to Psalms 79:4 5.
Verse 5, Psalm 79:5. How long, O Yahweh, wilt thou be angry forever? Shall thy jealousy burn like fire?
I tell you, be feeling like forever.
Yeah.
Damn, man, God.
Hell yeah.
Be ready to get out of this thing.
Yeah, but the scriptures tell us to hasten in the day.
Right.
You know.
You got it, bro.
But it says
Time be feeling like it moves slower
Slow.
when you're oppressed, man.
Yeah.
Right.
What it say? Time flies when you having fun. Man, time be moving slow. You gotta think about some of them jakes that be in prison. They be in prison for a year. You can't tell them they ain't do no 15 years in that 1 year, man.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how long it feel. Then Esau play with the time, man. You think about Jake in prison, they'll wake you up at these weird times of the day.
3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, to eat breakfast and shit. You know, time really slows down when you're oppressed.
Yeah.
You know, but that's why they said, "How long, Lord, forever?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we not only was we getting oppressed, but we was getting oppressed heavily under the heathen. The heathen don't lighten up. They're not looking for, they're not looking to build a system where they're just above us and we just a little bit below. No, they want to be extremely high and they make us extremely low. That's why in today's time you see these damn, businessmen that be multi-billionaires, all that money they got. You be like, damn, how the fuck you that? Excuse my French, but how are you that rich? Like, men were rich in the ancient world, but not rich like, man, these devils that's rich now, it's a whole nother level of rich, man.
Right.
And they're filthy rich due to the fact that they ain't paying their workers crap.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why there's all kind of protests with these like Amazon.
It's basically like free labor almost.
It basically is free labor. You got it.
Not including because they still profiting off of slavery.
And they still us working.
Yeah.
They just changed it to gave us corporate titles. Employee rather than a servant or a slave.
Right.
And they're the employer. But when you look that up, it really means or boss. CEO, president. They made it more corporate so it can have a more political, political approach to it, where it seems more, I would say, beautiful. It has a more professional. Yeah, it has a more professional way of actually saying it. Instead of like, oh, this is my slave master, you just say that's my employer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jake ate that shit up.
Yeah. This is verse 6. It says, pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name.
Right.
That's all of them.
Yeah, that's all of them.
Because none of them know the Lord. The scripture speak about how the Lord's name is dreadful among the heathen. So he's saying like, hey, get rid of all of them. Put them down. He wasn't looking, man, let's just free us and just spare the heathen. For they know not what they do. That's why we know when Yahushua made that statement, he was talking to the Israelites. Because the Israelites are the ones that's foolish and oblivious to the power. Them heathens know. That's how they know how to deceive us, because they know the truth. We just went into that. These heathens are actually, know the law, statutes, and commandments. They actually are studious. They know what the Bible they say. They know what makes a man holy and what makes him unholy. They know what to put in our neighborhoods to keep us down, keep us out, man.
Yeah.
I got a quick precept. Well, I'm going to read it quickly. This is Jeremiah chapter 25 and 19. This is the judgment on Egypt and others. It says, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, and his princes, and all his people, and all the mingled people, all the kings of the land of Uz, all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Azah, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom, and Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all the kings of Tyrus, and all the kings of Zidon, and the kings of the isles, which are beyond the sea.
Man.
beyond the sea, just everybody. Man. It says Dedan, and Tema, and Buz, and all that are in the utmost corners.
Yeah, he calling people out.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It says in all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, and all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, all the kingdoms of the world which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink them. Verse 27, therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, drink ye, and be drunken, and spew, and fall, and rise no more, because the sword which I will send among you. Verse 28, and it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, ye shall certainly drink.
Mm.
All right. Verse 29, for lo,
Man,
I begin.
That's force feed.
Right,
And that's a big boy curse right there.
right.
yeah.
They're thinking on us for sending curses up. Man,
Yeah.
our curse, this is a big boy curse.
Mm,
You got it.
Verse 29, for lo, I begin to bring evil on the city. For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, which we're going into.
mm,
So he's like, okay, I bring evil onto, to Jerusalem.
mm,
And should ye be utterly unpunished? So
Right.
you expecting me to bring evil on my
My
people,
people.
but not touch you?
right.
You got your mind.
Mm,
All right. It says, "Ye shall not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth,"
mm,
saith the Lord of hosts. He has an issue.
yeah.
All right, and that involves every single last one of you nations, because every single one of you had a hand in the downfall of the destruction
Of his
of,
people.
of his people, Israel.
Mhm.
Okay, even who is it, Ammon or Moab? I want to say they only ruled for 14 years.
Mm,
Well, you participated.
mhm.
You participated in ruling over us for a
Mhm.
short time because y'all some degenerate, functioning retards.
Yeah.
All right, so y'all they got Lord said, okay, never mind, man.
Yeah.
Next, y'all some weirdos.
Yeah.
And then, but still, y'all
Then-
conspired against
yeah.
this Psalm 83.
Yeah, and they still benefit from being a heathen nation.
Right.
Because the wicked is in rulership right now.
That's it.
So
Right.
the heathen nations, other than Israel, are still benefiting from just being heathens.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of them heathens be opening up shop, be feeding us all this weirdo chicken.
Right.
You know, we don't know what the hell it is.
Weirdo.
You know, yeah, dogs and cats. And I remember when I was younger, I thought that was just jokes.
I did too.
Me too.
Chinese
Yeah.
Chinese eat dogs. But when you grow up, you see these videos of the Chinese and Japanese where they'll butcher and
Mhm.
boil those cats and dogs alive, and then they'll put it on a platter and serve it to you, man.
Yeah, you be-
discount rate.
Chicken fried rice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you be
chicken
looking
fried
at the
rice.
chicken in the chicken fried rice. Like I've never seen a piece of chicken that look like
Like,
that.
nah, man.
Right.
Then it be coming out that a lot of that food be having rat, it be
Yeah.
fried rats and all kind of stuff.
Right.
It be all kind of things that articles come out. And that's why, hey, look at the conditions that it is because of Wuhan, China.
Right.
Right.
And did them heathens clean up their diets over there in China?
Hell no.
And Wuhan, with the city of Wuhan, they still eating bullshit.
Right.
It ain't like the federal, what's the word?
Oh, the
Yeah,
FDA.
Yeah, it ain't like the FDA
Yeah.
and the agricultural departments came up and said y'all can't eat this abominable food. That's what killed over what. We can look up
It's over 200 million.
That's what just killed over 200 million people worldwide. Y'all got to start following the dietary laws. Nah, they still eating bullshit. You see?
Right.
And that's why the heathens got to be taken out. You got it.
You go back to some.
Kind of going back to Psalms the 79th chapter,
Verse 7.
verse 7. It says, "For they have devoured Jacob and laid waste his dwelling place."
Right. They have devoured Jacob and laid waste his dwelling place. Can you get Daniel chapter 9 and 12? I mean, while you get that, I'm gonna get
Oh,
something
yeah.
real quick. And this is First Maccabees. All right, because it says what they have devoured Jacob and laid his dwelling place, waste his dwelling place. This is First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 7. It says, verse 7. He said, "Woe is me, wherefore I was born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there." All right, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of the strangers. Verse 8. Her temple has become as a man without glory. All right, meaning what worth is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's been defiled. Verse 9. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy, with the sword of the enemy. Verse 10. What nation have not had part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? So that goes to show you, all you nations had a part in laying Jerusalem on heaps, man.
Yeah.
So ain't no escape for you. When we always read that classic scripture in Thessalonians,
Mm-hmm.
it's a righteous thing to recompense tribulation on it was all of you
Mm-hmm.
who put tribulation on us.
Yeah.
What nation did not have a part or a hand in destroying us as a people. All of you did. All of you are guilty.
Yeah, you had the Arab slave trade.
Right.
You had it tells you that even in Joel how blacks were being traded amongst Edomites. They I think the Jewish Jew-rats were the ones that built the slave ships, and a lot of trading was amongst the Africans, the Arabs, and the East Indians with black slaves. Man, that's historically that's why it was known as a transatlantic slave trade. It was transactions or something that's the switch throughout the Atlantic. It wasn't just one location, And you had a lot of the Portuguese, you had the Dutch, you had the whites, the French. We was getting transported from mainly the Americas and Europe, and we was being pushed into other parts of the world, man.
Right.
India. A lot of those. That's why Jake's all over the world, man. Some of those people you think are actually blacks or Indians and things of that nature. A lot of them are actually Jakes because Jakes was being brought in captivity. But you got it.
Exactly.
This is Daniel chapter 9, verse. I start at verse 11. It says, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing us a great evil. By bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
See, you don't see another nation that went through like the deacon was speaking about the transatlantic, the sub-Sahara, right? Trans-Sahara slave trade, because we were brought through the Sahara up to the European nations. And you can't forget about the Issacharites and Native Americans when Esau first touched down over here. They brought us back across back up to Europe.
Yeah.
Really, when you think about it, the Aztecs and things, that they was the first ones that actually get transported back into slavery, back into the Europeans. And then, but the biggest one was Judah, Benjamin and Levi.
Yeah.
What other group of people has been through that?
None.
What other? None. And who did that to that group of people? Every single one of you nations.
All the nations.
Right.
Every single one of you.
It was a team effort.
Team.
Just like when you watch that movie Bone with Snoop Dogg, all of them that had to basically put the blood on their hands to kill Snoop. All of them had to actually touch that knife and stab him out. So when Snoop Dogg came,
he paid it. All of them he got revenge on all of them.
He got revenge on all of them. Yeah. And that's really like Yahweh Shah. Because he's gonna them that touch if you touch the apple of my eye. Basically killing the property of the Lord is like killing the Lord. Right. And they killed the Lord. And really through the ancient act of lynching. Right. Which is what he was died on the cross. Scripture says, cursed be he that hanging from a tree. But you got it.
Back in Psalm 79, it says, verse 8. Psalm 79 and verse 8. It says, "Oh, remember not against us former iniquities, let thy tender mercy speedily prevent us, for we are brought very low."
We were brought very low, Deuteronomy 28 chapter.
Yeah.
You can say, "Oh, remember not against us former iniquities," that's Psalm 51. It's particularly verse 9. All right? All right, blot out mine iniquities. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 9, "Help us, O power of our salvation, for the glory of thy name, and deliver us, and purge away our sins for thy name's sake."
So let me get a quick precept, real super quick. This is Isaiah chapter 43 and 25. It says, "I, even I, am he that blotteth out the transgressions for mine own sake, and will not remember thy sins. Put me in remembrance, let us plead together, declare thou, that thou mayest be justified." So the Lord is the one who's going to end up ultimately, winking at the ignorance, but only for a remnant, according to Isaiah the 10th chapter, verses like 20 on down. There's only a remnant which is gonna be saved. You got it,
and
bro.
not Joe Biden.
Sticky Joe on his staff, man.
It says,
Or Trump, man.
yeah,
Right.
or Trump. It says, wherefore should the heathen say, where is their power? Let him be known among the heathen in our sight by the revenging of the blood of thy servants which is shed.
Tell you also in Wisdom of Solomon too. You know, because they really be bucking up against the Lord. Like, where's the Most High? These are the Lord's people. Show us them.
I am God.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I think. That's how I think.
And then, like, since he's not feeling the shoes, somebody got to feel the shoes of the Most High. We the Most High.
Yeah.
You got it.
It says, verse 11, let the sign of the prisoner come before thee. According to the greatness of thy power, preserve thou those that are appointed to die.
And we're appointed to die in the system. You know, just like you got a ticket, you know, you think about you have an appointment. It might be a couple days at an appointed time. We're appointed to die. We're not appointed to live in this system, man. Everything is, we're really living off a damn artificial life. The GMOs, you know, it actually breaks us down. The food that we eat breaks us down. It doesn't build us up. We're constantly being sickened in this place. And then you'll see these devils, you know, they're living high off the hog. You know, living lavish. They could travel place to place.
Eat what they want.
They could eat what they get paid to go from one side of the earth to the next, man. You know, we was looking at brothers posting receipts in, you know, with the super rich.
In Dubai.
Dubai and things of that nature. $6,000 receipts and crap. $1,000, you know, receipts. You know, $40 for damn Sprite. Like, what the hell is an A Sprite that's different from our Sprite? It's different, all right.
$600 water.
$40 French fries.
Yeah, $40 fries.
Fucking.
That's a bill.
Yeah, hell yeah, like $40 fries. That's a meal.
That's my internet, damn
Hell
it.
yeah. That's groceries right there.
Right.
You got it.
God. Verse 12. And render unto our neighbors sevenfold into their bosom their reproach, wherewith they have reproached thee, O Lord. And people act like, you know, we insane because we want revenge on these devils, man.
Right.
The scriptures tells us that we should want revenge on them, man.
And that's justice.
Yeah.
You know, these jakes be talking about no justice, no peace.
Right.
Really, those jakes are pushing for revenge. But they ain't getting it.
Right.
Because this is in the system where we gonna get revenge. They wanted the cops that killed Breonna Taylor, and a lot of these other blacks to get they always want these jakes to get found guilty.
Right.
Here it is, they're getting judged in the white man's court system.
Right.
And it's people that work for the white man, these law enforcement. They're doing the bidding of the devil, and what? They always get acquitted. You know, they might have to get administrative, what do they call it? Administrative leave.
Yeah.
Which that's paid time off.
Like they charged the police officers but for the bullets that missed Breonna Taylor. They charged them not for the murder, but for the bullets that went through the wall.
Then they justified and said that the husband shot. But really, somebody's breaking into your house. That should be justified in self-defense. You don't know who the hell is kicking your door in. But hey, that's the system that we live in. And I'm not saying we justifying Breonna Taylor because, hey, you know, scripture speak with none perish being innocent. It's a lot that really goes in onto that whole. But really, both sides is wrong in the wrong any damn way, man.
A lot of stuff came out about Breonna, though.
Yeah.
Like, she was involved with some shit.
Man, she was a goddamn criminal, man.
She used to be here, but
Nah.
that's a different. That's
That's
the top man on getting that, man.
Change the title.
Right.
God, last verse 13. It says, "So we thy people and sheep of thy pasture will give thee thanks forever. We will show forth thy praise to all generations."
Right. I got a quick precept just to end off. It's Revelation chapter 18 and 20. It says, I started at 19. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, "Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of costliness. For in 1 hour she is made desolate." It's speaking about Babylon. Verse 20 is the point. "Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her. That's the revenge.
That's right.
That is the revenge that we are waiting on patiently. You know what I'm saying? For the Lord to come back and just take this place out.
That's right.
We had to go, hey, like we read in Jeremiah, we had to go through ours. What makes you think you ain't about to go through yours?
Exactly.
And the scripture says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You know, because like I said, you know, really Esau destroying the world. This is in our world. You know, the scripture speak about how, you know, the world was made for our sakes, but the Lord created this. This is really destroying the world, the Lord's property, destroying the Lord's people. You know, sickening the Lord's animals. Everything really falls back on Esau, really raging war against the Most High. And the Lord has to personally take this man down. We ain't got no power. He already, you know, power was stripped from us and given to the heathen nations, and they have the power to do what they will unto us. So when they fall and they get totally destroyed, what we're gonna do? We're gonna give our praise to Yahweh Shema Shah constantly, and think about it. We're gonna vent about it. We're gonna talk about it daily, about how the Edomites falling, the Moabites. We're gonna rejoice every single day. There's not gonna be a depressed day in the kingdom of heaven. Always gonna be up in the spirit.
That's right.
You got it, bro.
Right. You got any closing? So with that, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash.
double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144. Lord willing, this was edifying. Until the next time, we want to say shalom.
Shalom.
All right.